Do you ever feel like your team has 5 random heroes running it down, dying with no plan? That's because you're missing a crucial piece to win games. Team comps. Let's break down which heroes belong in which comp in Overwatch 2 and how you can play and counter the big 3 team compositions. There are 3 core comps in Overwatch 2, that being Dive, Poke, and Brawl. Each of these comps have their own strengths and their own weaknesses. Generally speaking, Dive beats Poke, Poke beats Brawl, and Brawl beats Dive. But why is this the case, you may ask? Well, in most scenarios, a good dive can pick off outliers in a poke comp. A good poke team has the distance to outrun and outdamage a brawl team, and a brawl team has the peel and team coordination to outlive a sneaky flank or collapse on the backline. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go over each hero and why they stand in each team comp and why they work well. This chart here is going to show where each hero fits and where they stand. Let's start with Dive. These include tanks like Winston, D.Va, Ball, Doomfist, and Hazard, DPS like Genji, Tracer, Sombra, and supports such as Kiriko. What makes these heroes good at Dive, you may ask? Well, the obvious advantage in speed they have on their opponents to collapse and target specific heroes. Going on to poke heroes. Tanks like Sigma and Hog, DPS like Hanzo, Widow, Ashe, Sojourn, Junkrat, Echo, Pharah, Freya, Torbjorn, Soldier, and supports like BAP, Juno, Mercy, and Illari. What's the key identity here? Long-range pressure, and each having the ability to control a lot of space. Finally, Brawl heroes. Tanks. Reinhardt, Junker Queen, Zarya, Mauga. DPS. Mei, Reaper, Bastion, Cass, Symmetra. And supports. Brig, Lifeweaver. Again, the key identity here is the close range power and sustainability these heroes have. Now, you may be asking yourself why your favorite hero may not be on this list. And to that, I say because your hero is weird, and also possibly very good. Most of these heroes can fit 2 comps or even all 3. So here's the new list with the rest of Overwatch 2's roster. For tanks, we have Ramatra and Orisa. Ram fits into Poke and Brawl. Why? Because Ram has 2 forms in this game, Omnic and Nemesis form. In his Omnic form, Ram has the potential of being a poke tank with his M1 and shield to take sightlines. But once you press shift on this very nice robot, he becomes a very scary brawler. The horse is just good at everything, not much to say. Supports we have Lucio, Ana, Zen, and Moira. Lucio is very good at Brawl, enabling his tanks and DPS to close distance with speed boost, and also very good at Dive. He can fend for himself with his heals and also enable Dive heroes to catch the backline off guard. Ana is good in Brawl and is where you'll see her the most. Her heals being amazing allow tanks to outlive attacks and abilities thrown onto them in the front lines. She could also be used in Dive with her Nano Boost, and in Poke with her arguably having the best ability in the game, that being her Biotic Grenade. Zen excels in Poke comps, with him having one of the best damage capabilities on the support roster, plus his amazing range. Zen could also be used in Dive with his Discord Orb. Just place it on the backline hero like a Mercy or Ana and watch your team delete her from the game. Moira has great heals for Brawl and isn't much of a far range hero herself. Her Fade could be used in Dive, and she can also fend for herself similar to Lucio due to her orb. Last on the support list is Wu Yang, Overwatch 2's newest hero. He is good at Poke with his M1, but really good at Brawl with his AoE healing and damage coming from his Guardian Wave ability. Our last hero is Venture. She sits in a weird spot sort of like Orisa, where she can do a little bit of everything. She has the survivability and flanks for Dive and can be good damage in front lines and Brawl comps. But with her new perk coming into Season 18 of Overwatch 2, you can now make a case for her in Poke comps. If you haven't seen already, Venture will have the ability to become a Poke DPS with her 40-meter range primary fire. I don't even have to say anything else. Now you know where each hero fits. But knowing the categories is only step 1. Now we'll talk about how to actually use this knowledge in your games. Like we said before, in most cases, Dive beats Poke, Poke beats Brawl, and Brawl beats Dive. But let's actually dive into why that's the case, starting with Dive. Dive has the ability to overwhelm Poke. The whole name of the game in a Poke comp is to keep distance and dwindle down your opponents. But you can't really do that when there is a Monkey, Tracer, and Lucio in your backline picking you off. Another thing to look at here is that in most cases, Poke comps can't peel very well for each other. I mean, they can try, but not to the extent that other comps can, and that's exactly what Dive wants. Now, Poke can shut down Brawl comps. Unlike Dive, Brawl wants to push their opponents head on no matter the case. I mean, they have shields and heals to do so. But Poke sees this and just walks backwards while their Widow, Ashe, or Sojourn picks off someone on the enemy team. Now with the fight being a 5v4, it's all about collapsing on the Brawl team. Just as the Poke team was walking backwards, all of a sudden the Brawl team is walking back into spawn waiting for a regroup. But Brawl has its cases where it dominates, and that's against a dive comp in close fights. Brawl comps don't even have to put in the effort when playing against a dive comp. Their prey just walks into them. And with all the heroes in a Brawl comp excelling in close range, it's very easy to overwhelm a sneaky flank or collapse on the backline. Peeling in Brawl is so much easier than in any other comp, and it is why in most cases it feels almost impossible to find a pick against a Brawl team. That covers step 2. Last up, let's learn how to force favorable maps with your team comps. With map voting being added into Overwatch 2, it's now easier than ever to flip the winning odds in your favor with your team. If you are playing in a stack and know that your tank wants to brawl, you could choose close range maps like King's Row to hold the advantage. Same goes for other comps. DPS wants to play Ashe or Widow, find a long range map like Havana or Junkertown. Supports want to play Kiri or Lucio for dive, find maps with a lot of map geometry to use to your advantage like Gibraltar or Blizzard World. Positioning is crucial in every comp, and learning how to use it to your advantage is key in every game. But there's a twist. Team coordination, ult economy, and player skill matter way more than what you see as viable. Hybrid comps exist. An example like Ryan plus Hanzo plus Kiriko could still win you games. And if a team comp isn't working, flexing mid-match is often stronger than hard one-tricking a comp that you know you're losing. So take this all with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, play what makes you comfortable and happy. If you want to stay playing your Widow pick in a Brawl comp, that's fine. But take your team into consideration if the matchup just isn't going in your favor. Anyways, that wraps up this video. I hope you all learned something from it and start winning more of your games as a smarter and better player.